Alright, you're probably expecting a long highlight video when the Dow's up 320 something points and the SPY gaps up after getting killed for a few days and closes at its highs of the day. Must have made all kinds of money. I'll tell you what, I had a green day, but nothing. I mean, you know, your neighbors know you're a day trader. You think they'd expect you to make a killing on a day when they come home and see the Dow was up 323 points. So I didn't make a killing today. I just had a marginal green day. It wasn't great. A couple calls that were made in the room that were pretty nice. OMER, I made this one, and this was on my list. Take today's candle out of it. You know, it's on my list of one of the crazy strong stocks, which made sense to me to have those on watch. And then, you know, then a couple red days. You know, if the market bounces, I think these are going to move big. And OMER really didn't do what you'd have thought. But anyway, I called it long at 1175, right there. Figuring we were going to get through the high of the day if it got there, and it did. And it went to 1247, only 20 cents risk. But, you know, look at some of the others I had on watch. ACAD, had that on bounce watch. CLDX, they bounced great. And there was a way to get in these. The thing is, when you have something on bounce watch that's really beaten up, I like to see a narrow range for a while and then a high of day break after that. So in the first 5 minutes when a stock does this, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I knew it was oversold and it's going to go. There's nothing wrong with grabbing it on that opening 5-minute candle as long as your stop is you know, at the low of the day and you have correct position size. You know, expecting to get stopped out, because you never know. 5 minutes in is a scary time to take an entry anytime, but especially lately the way the market's been trading. But that would have been great. I didn't do it. I ended up watching ACAD pretty much run without me. And you can see what it did for the next, after the initial 20-30 minute run, it chopped around for the next 4.5 hours, right before closing near the high of the day. CLDX, pretty much the same thing, right? If you didn't get in initially, it just chopped around after that. So anyway, long story short, I missed those entries. I did get the OMER one. And then LTD was actually my best trade of the day. Again, found by B-Turk, one of our all-stars, and again, one of the best bottom feeders I've ever seen. He brought the room's attention to LTD, or I should say he brought LTD to the room's attention when it looked like this. You've heard me talk about it before in videos, right? Yeah, you had, first of all, you had straight down, but anyway, then most of the day you had you know, grinding down, now grinding down a little faster, right? Now really grinding down, and then here you've got complete shape change. You see the volume there? So this is what intraday capitulation looks like. When he pointed that out, I looked at the daily chart and liked it even more, because on the daily, what you had was, take today's candle out. Well, actually, I'll leave today's candle in it. You had 1, 2, 3, like 4 days in a row down, okay? And this has been a really strong stock, by the way, up until the sell-off. And you had the most recent low. Well, I didn't do a great job of drawing that line there, but you had the most recent low. Bear with me here. The most recent low was right there. Okay. When you fall this far, when you have this kind of a sell-off, to get down to the most recent low, I mean, keep in mind this is basically after this nice move, it's in a range, right? It's in a range, and so now it's come all the way down to the bottom of that range in 3 or 4 days. And where do you think most the remaining of the stops are when this thing starts to sell up? They're below the most recent low, right? 56.26 is the most recent low. When B-Turk pointed that out, I looked at the daily and said, hey, I really like this if it takes out 56.26, because that's a stop run area, right? Now let's go back to the 5-minute chart. And what do you see? You see all these 4, 5, 6 red candles in a row, and then the long one. And these are all about the same size, and then you get that long one. And what do you know? You see it's 56.26 right there, but it went down below that 56.26. It went to 56.15 before it turned. B-Turk called this long at 56.25 on the way back up with a low of day stop. So 11 cents risk, and look what this thing did. Even if you just trail stopped it below each 5-minute candle, you got all the way to 57.02, stopped out somewhere right about there. I mean, a good 77 cent move in our favor on 11 cents risk. So this doesn't look like that big of a move, but and you know, I've gotten questions from people before that say, well, why in the heck weren't you short this stock? A lot of people think, well, why would you just try to go long when the stock's that weak? Well, I understand that logic, but we didn't have LTD on watch. Okay, that's just one of those that as the day's unfolding, right, we're trading other things. This comes to our attention via scanners or guys like BTurk who's running a scanner and noticed it, right? Probably lighting up the new lows ticker, and then it started to get that shape we look for. So, yeah, LTD was a much better short at the open. Wasn't even on my universe of stocks to watch today. But you know, with the teamwork in the chat room and people watching for things, we play reversals like this. We also play, you know, pullbacks on strong stocks and buy them in the buy zones. GameStop is an example. It gave a nice pullback to what we call the buy zone between the 8 and the 20. We talk about this all the time, and a very nice turn and move back up there. Having said that, I didn't get this one, but it's just an example. We don't just play reversals. LTD was just one that we stumbled upon, thanks to BTurk. So try to do a whole bunch of different setups that we look for, and the reversal play is certainly one of them. And that was a super nice call by BTurk. And I've rambled long enough. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.